Hi everyone, I believe that you are great and doing awesome today. And I also believe that you can hear me. So Adelere Adesina here. And in the next few minutes, I'd like to share with you how to use your imagination. Now let's start with the starting point. And the starting point is this. Imagination creates reality. I believe that that's not news for you if you've been on my feed for quite some time right now. But in case you are just watching this and you're coming across this idea for the first time, I'd like to reassure you that indeed the one way and the only way by which you've created your whole life up until this time, and by which you can order and organize and create your life the way you would like it to be to the end of time, is using your imagination. See, there is nothing we have now that was not first only imagined. Look at this particular cloth on me. It was first imagined before it became a reality. Now, I may pick the piece of cloth when it was just still fabrics, okay, and take it to the fashion designer, and they're not seeing the fabrics the way I'm looking at it. I may be looking at it as just an ordinary textile, but they're looking at the finished product from it. And that is how they use the imagination to create it. And I'm just talking about maybe planning and plotting, which are some things people use their mind to do many times. So because lots of people think when we talk about using your mind, using your imagination, or using your consciousness, your awareness to create your desired reality, it's quite easy to think we're talking about planning, plotting, strategizing, or creating a process. No, that is not it at all. This is way more dynamic and more powerful than all of that idea. So in case you've been used to that kind of thinking, which I was, alright, I remember back when I was 15 years old, I loved Albert Einstein a lot. Now it was my role model, okay, in the academic world. And the reason was because this man used his imagination to model the whole universe in his mind. So I felt like, wow, what a big deal. That was amazing. And I always thought if he was a theoretical physicist who could do that in his imagination, then I can also do that as a theoretical economist. Okay? And it's wonderful that many years after I ended up studying theory, I did theoretical economics as my undergraduate research project, even when my school didn't have the facility for that. Now, what I'm saying is that it's not just about planning and plotting. When I first came across this idea of Albert Einstein using his imagination, I thought, oh yeah, this is great, because I too can do the same thing. I can use my imagination to do theories, but no, this is way beyond that. I'm talking about things that actually affect human lives, that change destinies. We can make or mar our destiny through our imagination alone. And in fact, there is no other way by which we can be assured of creating our destiny intentionally. And there is no person, in case you're wondering, maybe this is like a deal between you and God. No, this is not a deal between you and God. It's not like if you're doing it, God is not doing it. If you're not doing it, God is doing it. No, there is no other means, no other person, no universe, God, power, spirit, angel, demon, guardian angel, astrology, or anything that can fix and define your destiny for you if you're not exercising your imagination to do that. Your imagination is the only creative power in the world that people call Jesus Christ, and He is the one who can create all things. And He is you are He, because your true self is your imagination. You sleep in the night and you dream, and then you wake up the following day. And I don't think you've ever reported your dream to someone around you, maybe your sibling, your relative, your friend, or your spouse, and then you're telling them, you're saying, oh, so when I dreamt, you know what happened? I saw someone who looked like me, and the person was just, no, you say you address it as yourself, even though you were on your bed for the whole 4, 5, 6, or 8 hours that you were asleep. You would address it as you. You said you experienced this. I saw this, and I found myself here. I did this, I did that. Then those things happened, and I left. you address it as yourself. That is the imagination we're talking about. It is creative of everything. It is in you, and he is one as you. The two of you are one and the same thing. I've been watching various things about movies lately. I think I posted one about a movie I watched the other time. I've forgotten the name right now, but I put it there on the post. And a lesson from it, which is a lesson I've seen recurring in many other movies I've watched recently, or maybe this is just one thing I'm becoming to really see in my experience, is that the one thing that differentiates all of us is what we are aware of, what we choose to be aware of. Otherwise, we are all the same power. And it's the only difference we really have is in what we choose to focus our attention on, what we are aware of at the moment. See, a person who is rich is not rich because they have the money sitting in their account, because they could have that money and not be aware of it, and consequently they won't be able to use it. But they're rich because that's what they are aware of. They're aware of being rich. They're aware of having that money. It's not the money, it's the awareness that defines their wealth, that makes them have the lifestyle you call rich. Okay, a person who is successful or who is healthy, okay, is not healthy because of the drugs they take, their food intake, or their exercise regimen, or anything else, but because they are aware of being healthy. That's why they're healthy. A person who is strong, vibrant, or a person who has a great standing in the community is aware of it first, and that is why they have that experience of a great standing in the community. Our awareness, our imagination, and how we use it is what makes the whole difference across all human lives. Alright? There's the same power in operation between the president of a country and the driver of that president. Now, when the president is seeing himself as the first citizen of that country, the driver is seeing himself as the first driver of that country. Okay? Now, I want us to learn how exactly we are to use our imagination to create whatever we want in this world. Now, the first thing you must know is what you want. Hi, Alison. Hi, Uche. And hi, everyone. Pam. William. Okay? So, the first thing you must know is what you want in this world. Now, I don't know if you know Neville so much, but Neville was a very receiving, kindly person. That's how he was described by even other people. Yeah, hi, Ada. So, Neville is a very warm, receiving, gentle, amazing person. But there is one thing, and he's open, by the way, regardless of your religion, your culture, whatever, we are all one. That's the core, the center of his teaching. So he definitely welcomes you to his teachings every time. But he would walk you out of his class, out of his teaching, any day, any time, if a condition is holding with you, if you don't know what you want. So, in imagination, I am the imagination that creates reality lecture. Neville says this. He said, know what you want. You must first know what you want. When you know what, he said, if you don't know what you want, well, come back the next time. Period. He said, get out of my class. But he said it politely. Of course, he's a polite man. But I'm saying it in a very harsh way. If you don't know what you want, get out of my class. Okay. But I believe that you get the lesson. The lesson is know what you want first. And I'm not talking about knowing what you think will get you what you want. That's not the same deal. I'm saying know what you want, not what you think you need to get what you want. Because many times we see people failing to use their imagination to achieve certain objectives because they have actually ignored the actual objectives they have in their life, and they've put that away in order to occupy what they think is necessary for them to get that objective in life. And I've been teaching some of my amazing students about clarity of desire in the last few weeks, and of imagination. And clarity of desire was what we learned this week. And one of the things about that class, or one of the things about desire, is that there are 3 types of desires you can see a person entertaining at any time. The first is a basic desire, which is exactly what your imagination is there for you to create. When you have a basic desire, this is not talking about, we're not talking about what you need to survive as a human. We're saying what you want from the depth of your heart, that you know, this is what I want in my life. maybe it is a happy marriage, then that's your basic desire, period. Basic. C'est fini. Okay, maybe it is health. Maybe it is being so strong and young and vibrant. Maybe it is being full of life. Maybe it is a wonderful daily purposeful living. Maybe it is being busy. Maybe it is a great career, successful involvement in society, a wonderful international business, being rich, being a 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures income earner, being financially secure. I don't know what it is, but something you want, and period. That is it. You want it. It may even be something so specific. Well, of course, the more specific it is, the better it is. So it could be very specific. Maybe you want to be the CEO of a certain organization. Maybe you want to be the national manager of a certain team. Maybe you want to be the, I don't know what it is. Okay, but you know what you want in your heart. Alright? And usually, that particular thing you want many times feels like, oh, I want it, but I don't know if I can achieve it. Now, I'm here to tell you that yes, you can achieve it, and you can achieve it using your imagination. Because what I have used my imagination to achieve has definitely convinced me of that. So I'm not speaking from theory. Now, I've read the books. I've read hundreds of books. Right in 2020, when I started to do self-development, personal development, self-help, I read a lot of books. And throughout 2021, I did. So I could tell you, I'm not talking theory, because I know what talking theory is like. Okay? But this is specifically what you must do. First, know what you want. Your basic desire. Now, there are two other types of desires. One is compromised and the other is complicated. So a complicated desire sounds something like this. Someone wants to be happily married. Alright? And then they complicate the desire. They go, oh, if only I have had children for him, then we will be happily married. No. Having children for a person doesn't guarantee that you'll be happily married to them. And conceiving for them doesn't guarantee that they would take you up into marriage. No. Okay? Yeah, so perfect health and freedom to travel with my partner. Great. That is exactly clarity of desire. That's like basically it. Bottom line, that is what I want. Now, so I told, so we have, that is a complicated desire. When a person goes, yeah, I want to be happily married, so let me get pregnant for my SP, or so let me impregnate my SP, okay? Oh yeah, I want to have a great job, so let me go and get some certificate at some institute, or let me get certified by this great person so I can have a great job. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, because you're already meddling up what your imagination can do. You're limiting yourself. And what is most important is you're saying to yourself, I don't think I can achieve this thing just for itself. I think the only way I can achieve it is by going through other means and taking the longer road. And guess what happens? You take the longer road, which makes what should have happened in a week, in a month, in a year, sometimes take 10 years, 20 years, maybe even a lifetime. It never happens. So eliminate that. Alright? Now, a compromised desire is something like this. Someone wants to be happily married, and what they truly want in their heart is to be married to a good-looking man who's rich, who has a great background, and his family is intact and amazing. But then they met this man. He's not so rich, and he doesn't have such a great background. Okay, his family is messed up, but they go, oh well, but anyways, he cares for me, he likes me, so I'm going to give up all of that just to be in a relationship with him. No, that is a compromised desire, because what you want is not what you're settling for now. You're settling for less. Alright, and you don't want that. Okay, so first, know what you want. Definitely, it is very important to know what you want exactly. Something that you want to the point that there is nothing you want in the world as it. And in fact, if you wake up anytime and they say, why do you want it? You can't give any other reason why. Alright? If you can give a reason why you want something, as, oh, I want to be happily married so that I can be happy, then you don't want marriage, you want happiness. Do we understand? You don't want marriage, you want happiness. Okay? Or maybe, oh, well, I want to get a job so that I can be rich. Then you don't want a job, you want to be rich. There's a big difference. You can be rich sitting at home. No, maybe people don't want to tell you that. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you that. You can be rich sitting at home. You can be rich not doing a job. Okay, I do the work I do because I love it, because I enjoy it, not because I think it is the only way that I have to work and get rich. No. So you have to decide what you want, and not because you want something else or because you want to get something out of it. Now, that said, the next thing you do is to create a scene in your imagination that implies you already have that particular thing that you've just said you want. Okay, so what would the thing be that you would create in your imagination? Now, if we had not gone through what is it called, the basic desire, the compromise desire, and the complicated desires, then it would have been maybe a little bit more challenging to describe exactly the kind of scene you have to create, because what people do often is they end up imagining a compromised scene for a basic desire, or imagining a complicated scene for a basic desire. Such as the example we used, a person wants to be happily married, but they're imagining getting pregnant, and imagining saying that, they're imagining raising a child for this particular man. It's a complicated desire. Raising a child for a person does not mean you're married to that person. But having the person's ring in your finger, or having your marriage certificate where your name now has that person's surname, okay, definitely implies you're married to that person. Okay, so you want to know what is exactly the scene that implies your basic desire is fulfilled. That is what you're to imagine. And there are 5 sensations. Now, I don't know if you've heard some things like 8 sensations, 20 sensations. Please dismiss them. They're irrelevant. There are 5 sensations that you can use or employ any of them in your consciousness for imagining the wish fulfilled. For the scene, this is the first is you can see what implies you have the result. I love to use the sensation of seeing for money. Okay, I love to see something about my account, something about my bank statements, or something about my bank notifications, which implies that I have received money, period. So when I want to have money, I don't imagine selling something, buying something, doing something. I imagine that I get that particular notification. That's all. Okay, so seeing is something you can do. If you are happily married, if that's the desire, for example, what would you see that would imply you're happily married? One of the things that I see to imply I'm happily married, well, this is the one thing I see, is I see myself sleeping beside my wife in my apartment, which implies that I am happily married. Okay? Now, I was at the hotel when I began to imagine this, and when I using my inner speech as the background to that particular imaginal act, in a few weeks, actually in 2 weeks, I met the person that became my fiance. And now actually she called me just as we are having this particular video, and I'll just be returning the call after this class. So there you go, something you see that definitely implies you have the result you want. You can use what you smell. All right, I remember in 2021, I think February of 2021, so I wanted to buy some books and I didn't have any money on me. And I would like to test this principle that imagination is the one way by which I could achieve anything I want in this world. I want money. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to turn to get the money, but I wanted to buy the books. So what I did was simple. I imagined that I smelt money, because I heard Neville saying that on the same lecture I've referenced of using I am the imagination who creates reality. So I imagined that I smelt money, that it's right in my chest pocket, and I could smell it, and it's new notes. Alright, that was on a Wednesday, and on the Thursday, a person called me and said, meet me tomorrow. So on the Friday, I got to his office, and we had a project from 2020 we've not touched, and he said, okay, we want to resume this project, and the first thing he said is, okay, before you even do anything, let me give you this money. So he brought out some money, and he gave it to me, and guess what it was? New notes, 10,000 naira. What I wanted to buy, the books I wanted to buy then was maybe 5,000 or 6,000 naira, and I got 10,000 naira 2 days after the imagining. No accident at all for me, because I know that I've been living for many days without receiving money out of anywhere. Okay, so that is what you can smell. I smelled the money. I knew the smell of money. Neville says you can smell money. It smells like roses smell to his own nose. He knows the smell of roses because Neville likes flowers a lot. He said money smells to a miser the same way. Okay, So that's the second. You can also use another sensation, which is what you hear. You can hear someone saying congratulations. You can hear someone saying, oh, great job. You can hear someone saying thank you. You can hear yourself saying any of these phrases. You can hear yourself or someone saying, isn't it wonderful? Now, my own inner speech, for example, for marriage was, wow, my wife. Those three golden words with a qualification of what I want in my marriage was everything that defined my inner speech for me. And I heard it. I heard it every night after night as I was falling asleep. I didn't know where she was going to come from. I didn't even know who she was going to be. But I did hear that I was saying, wow, my wife, as if I was speaking to her in my imagination. I never said anything on my lips. So this is no affirmations. If you're a fan of affirmations, of scripting, gratitude lists, journaling, well, I'm telling you, you're not ready for Neville's teachings or law of assumption or how your imagination creates reality yet. If you're ready for that, throw all of those things out the window and practice your inner speech, or practice seeing, or practice smelling. And of course, we have two other sensations. You know them? Yeah? You can taste it. You can taste. You can use this as an exercise. What's your favorite meal? Alright? Whether you have the means of preparing it for yourself or not. How about you taste it on your tongue? Just imagine that you actually tasting it and you relishing the taste that comes from your favorite meal. I've had many times I go to the restaurant to eat only after I have actually relished a particular taste on my tongue. Alright, there was a particular time I ate this amazing delicacy prepared by my beautiful wife for me, and it tasted everything I imagined. It was amazing. I loved it. I can't forget that particular day. So you can taste also, and of course you can what's the fifth? You can touch, and that covers many of the sensations. People try to say like 10 or 20 sensations. Your touch includes how you relate to the world. Because if I'm walking, I'm essentially touching. Alright? I'm using my sensation of touch to detect that I'm moving. So you can touch. You can hold the person. You can hug them. You can do a handshake. You can hold the letter in your hand. You can hold your phone and see the email. You can walk to the door. You can open the door. You can close the door. You can touch. That's touch. Alright? All the way. So you specify it. Use any of the senses, but be very clear and specific on using the sense that implies your wish is fulfilled. Alright? So we're not saying, oh yeah, use hearing, and then you're now hearing someone saying, oh, congratulations on your promotions, when you want to imagine marriage, because that doesn't have anything to do with marriage, yeah? So you're not to just hear anything. Hear what implies your wish is fulfilled. Okay, because we said you can see, that doesn't mean you just see anything. So maybe your desire is to have a large office, okay, and then you're working from your office with a very big role. Maybe, yeah, the CEO desire we mentioned earlier. This doesn't mean you have to see yourself walking up the stairs, because that doesn't imply that you have that role. But seeing yourself at the back of a table, a large table, where the CEO designation is on the table and your name is just there also, that definitely implies that you are the CEO of a company. So you can imagine that. Alright? Do you understand? So you have to see what does imply the wish is fulfilled. I believe that many times people have trouble imagining the wish fulfilled because they lack the courage to hold, or dare to assume, or dare to grab that particular scene which implies the wish is fulfilled. Because their senses, their reasoning mind is telling them, no, how can that be? That is not possible. But, okay, yeah, here we have Ash Williams' example. Thank you very much, Ash. So, our desire is perfect health and freedom to travel with my partner. And here she's saying, we're hiking in an amazing forest, and he puts hands on my face and says, I'm so proud of you. And I think I did it. Everything worked out perfectly. Okay, now this particular thing you mentioned would definitely work for the second desire, which is freedom to travel with your partner. Okay, for perfect health, imagine something else, which is something like your partner also saying, oh, you look so healthy, or how do you maintain such a great health? That could come from your girlfriends. Okay, so we're hiking in an amazing forest. Make it very short, simple, and straight to the point. Hiking in an amazing forest, maybe the Amazon or something, and he puts his hand on your face. So you want to see yourself at that spot where he's putting his hands on your face. I don't want you to imagine. You don't imagine hiking for like 3 minutes in your guided meditation before he puts his hand on your face. No, you're already on the hike. Okay, your inner speech can guarantee you that. All you're doing is that he's putting his hands on your face. That is now, what sensation is that? Who can tell? That is touch. Alright, he's putting his hands on your face. And then he says the words. That is now what? Hearing. That is hearing. So he says the words, I am so proud of you. Well, I would have used different words. The words that mean exactly what the wish is at that time. Alright? If you want to impress someone, that is when I'm so proud of you becomes a relevant inner conversation or a relevant speech. Do we understand? So thank you, Ash Williams, for telling us this particular example. So it lets us see in practice how to use our imagination. So what would he say to imply that you are traveling around the world? He could say something like, oh yeah, this is such a great place to be, or this is our fourth tour, or this we can't have the enough of traveling and seeing various places like this. Or you could say, I'm so happy that I'm getting to have the trips of my life with you. I'm so happy that we're having the vacations of our life together. It could say any of those things, but you can see that they definitely mean you're traveling. Alright? And instead of I think I did it, everything worked out perfectly. Oh yeah, if you mean you think you did it, then you're talking about your inner speech at the back of the whole drama. That is very effective, very powerful. But turn it to something that definitely means your desire is fulfilled. Such as having touched your face and saying, oh my darling, this is one of the best trips in our lives. Then you can say, yes indeed. Yes indeed. Or, oh yes, I have loved every experience so far. So that is something you use. Thank you very much, Gautam. That is excellent example. Your partner telling you this trip around the world is amazing. Yes, that is exactly how to imagine that you have got this trip going on around the world. Or touch sensation. Yes, when he's touching the face, that is a touch sensation. Alison on a beach talking, telling me how happy he is. On a beach, you have to ensure that the beach you're imagining is not a beach that you could commonly visit around you, okay? Because if that beach is maybe the beach in your country, well, that is not you seeing the world, okay? But if the beach you're talking about is another beach somewhere in another location, another country, yeah, excellent idea. That is how to do it. So I'm healthy enough to go on this long ass a hike. No, Ash, because you're still with that, you are trying to bring health with the desire to have the trip, and they are actually still independent desires. So you're to imagine them one after the other, like independent of one another. Now, I would recommend for all of us here, especially Ash, that you go through chapter 6 of The Power of Awareness. The very first 2 paragraphs will make you clear of what I'm saying right now. Whenever it says that our imagination can execute the wish fulfilled to the proportion that we focus our attention on a particular sensation or on a particular imaginal act. Alright? Do we understand that? So you have to focus on a particular sensation or on a particular idea. So that's what you do. You let health be out of it. You let wealth be out of it. You imagining trips is trips. When you want to imagine health, health is health. When you want to imagine money, money is money. You don't imagine wealth in order to cover for money, because people say health is wealth. No, that is rubbish. Okay, health is health, wealth is wealth. Okay, so imagine health to mean health. Imagine wealth to mean wealth. Imagine, oh God, thank you. Yes, imagine traveling with your partner to mean traveling with your partner. So that's what you do, and then you relax to actually imagine this and carry on with the inner speech of it happened, it is done, or thank you, or how wonderful, or any other thing that you would like to have as your inner speech to anchor yourself on that imaginal act. Now, I'm specifically mentioning that you should very clearly anchor yourself with your inner speech, because as disturbed as, well, not disturbed, but as playful, yeah, that's the word, as playful as our minds can be, we could be imagining just climbing down the stairs. Maybe that's just what we need to imagine to imply the wish is fulfilled. But in the 5 seconds we have to imagine it, we might end up imagining getting out of the window, or jumping over the ceiling, or something else really that funny, just because we are unable to keep ourselves anchored on flying down the stairs. Another thing that happens with our imaginal act, if we don't anchor it, is we end up saying the words that negate that particular wish fulfilled, such as traveling around the world. How can I afford that? I've not even traveled out of my state before, so how is that going to ever happen? If my partner even doesn't like it, doesn't want. Okay, so you can be imagining a wish fulfilled with any of the other four sensations. This is excluding hearing. And if you are not controlling your inner speech at the back of it, you could be imagining driving the car. Maybe that's to imagine to say you own the car, and back in your mind you're going, I don't think I want Grace to ever have this car with me. Oh, Grace's car is more amazing. What could I ever do? I should get into a business like Grace so that I could be able to. So there you go. You already have like a lot of distractions. You're off the particular chart you've set for yourself to imagine the wish fulfilled. I want you to understand that it doesn't take so long before you get distracted. It's like 5-7 seconds, and if you go anything beyond maybe 30 seconds, you're already distracted. If a person tells you they're imagining a particular wish for 5 minutes, like they're imagining a scene, you can very much boastfully tell them back, sorry, you're not imagining the wish fulfilled. You're busy playing around your imagination like a child, because your imagination is a child. Our imagination is a child. That's how the Bible describes it. The child that was with God at the beginning of creation has his wisdom. So it could be very playful and could go all around. Concise, make it very concise and definite, just specific, and not so much of dialogue, not so much of conversations. Thank you, Ash, for pointing that out. Something really specific and period. Alright, so I believe that we've all learned how exactly to use your imagination to imagine the wish fulfilled there. I'm telling you, I have success stories on a daily basis. Just before this video, I got off a call with a student of mine who was sharing a wonderful story with me of how she used her imagination to create certain amazing results in her life. And this is how they do it. So you make it very specific, very simple, and you go straight to your desire. Don't imagine something that might happen as a result of your desire happening. Imagine something that is conclusive. Your desire has happened. That is what you to imagine. Focus on the wish fulfilled. Alright, so on to some other time. Oh yeah, I would like to mention, in March, before my birthday that is coming up in March, we're going to be having a series of book review on the Power of Inner Speech book. So if you've got that book before, that's awesome. And in case you've not, then check on my link and get it. Okay, so the Power of Inner Speech, we'll be having a book review together of how to use your inner speech in March, just maybe a few weeks before my birthday. So see you in that, and keep using and exercising your imagination. And of course, I'm your imagination coach. I'm the greatest imagination coach. And I'd like to make another fun announcement. Oh yes, by March we'll be having more imagination coaches working with me. So I'll be having just for you to really learn and master your imagination, I'll be having some of the most amazing coaches I've seen, who have trained, raised, and brought amazing results in people's lives, who are very straight and simple with this principle. They don't mix it with anything else. So I want to work with any person who is mixing with something else. So they don't mix it with anything else, and they will be together with me coaching you on how to use your imagination to mastery and create a fantastic life. And if you think that's a joke, well, I want you to realize that there is only one way to truly and really achieve what you want in this world: your imagination. If you're still not convinced, well, I'd like to say one last thing that I love to say to people sometimes in my Weekend Millionaires class, and it is this: you are already doing the best you can do. You're already putting in all of 100% of your effort, of your time, of your skills, of everything you want to do. But the one thing that is missing is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So that is the only factor you must put in. And this is the school, this is the place where you get to learn how to do that. So have a great time, everyone. Bye bye. It's been so wonderful to have all of you. And if I could maybe just thank you so much all for coming up. Alison, Ash, Ada, Itai, Gautam, Cheryl, Wells, Michael, Uche. So we have a lot of you. Pam, okay. So Dashana, Samara, it's been amazing. Liz, great to have all of you. And you can share this with as many people as possible. Have a great time. Bye bye.